So welcome to WorkEnd Tech video. The first time I've ever really recorded one. What I'm going to be doing today is, I decided that I needed a little small business server for my own personal use and to help me with my blogging and business ventures and all that. And I looked around and, I've set up a bunch of Windows servers before, a bunch of Ubuntu Linux servers, and I was looking for an operating system to put OpenEMR on for a project I'm working on, and one to put SugarCRM on so that I could, invoice customers better. And I was thinking, I should really just, stick with Ubuntu servers since that's what I'm familiar with. But a buddy of mine sent me a link to ClearOS, and it's apparently based on Red Hat. And I'm not a huge fan of Red Hat, but it's got one thing I do like about it is this has apparently got a web interface, which is kind of how a lot of servers are going these days, and it looks like you can put SugarCRM on this. It looks like it can also be used as a firewall, and it just has a bunch of other features pre-packaged in, which, as far as I could tell, would make it an ideal solution for a lot of small businesses and maybe even large-scale deployments. So I thought, I'll download the Community Edition and set it up here, put the two applications on it I need, and maybe I can use this for a couple of the other projects I've got, on my back burner. And then it occurred to me, hey, why not make a video of it? And anyway, this is the first time I've ever configured it. So here we go. Now, I've already installed this on a server that I built, which is basically just an old machine I had laying around, and I cobbled it together out of parts. So if it looks a little slow, that's why. It's just something I had sitting in my garage for a few years. One thing I did notice is that when you go into this initial setup, you can't skip ahead. You have to set up everything in the order that it wants you to, so you can't skip ahead here, but it looks like you can go back. So the first thing you come to is this network mode. Now there's a public server mode, private server mode, and gateway mode. Now gateway mode, I think, is if you want to use this as a firewall, so you need 2 network cards, which I don't have. Public server mode, maybe you can. It looks like you can turn it into a public hotspot, or put it in a data center or something like that. I'm not going to be doing this. I'm just using this for my own personal use, so I'm going to use it as a private server. So that's what I'm going to select. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next here. Well, maybe. Okay, so I've got my network interfaces. This is my private IP address scheme here. This was actually set up during the initial setup. Normally when I set up servers, I put them on my bench, and I've got a monitor on my bench, and then when I usually set up a static IP then. It does give you the option of setting this up when you set up the machine initially, and you don't actually have to do it through the command line. It's got kind of an initial setup screen, kind of if you're familiar with the way Ubuntu works, or even if you've ever set up Red Hat before. It's got something kind of like that, so you don't really have to worry about that. But as you can see, I've only got the one network interface, so it doesn't matter. I went ahead and used my router and then Google's DNS servers, so we're good there. So this right here, it looks like it's talking about the Community Edition, the Home Edition, and the Business Edition. So the community edition is the free version. The home edition is for if you want to set up a home server, and this is the their top end business edition for small businesses, and maybe they've even got some enterprise level stuff. I didn't really look that hard into it because I'm more interested in this one right here, so I'm just going to select that one. This one has no support, and if you're familiar with the way a lot of these open source appliances work, they usually do have a community edition and it's got some features turned off. These two right here cost. This one's actually pretty inexpensive. I think I saw it was like $3 a month for the basic edition. This one's kind of pricey. I think I saw it was somewhere around $300, but you'd have to go to their website and take a look at that. This wants some registration. I don't think I actually set up an account, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to call this ClearOS server. Environment, I'm going to call it home office. I don't know how necessary it is to create an account, so I'm just going to skip ahead next and see if it'll let me. Oh, you have to. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and I'm going to go ahead and make an account. So it looks like you did have to register, and sorry for blanking out some of this stuff because it's got an account name and some external IP addresses and host keys, and I don't really know what all that means. One thing it did do, and this is kind of annoying, and hopefully you can change this after, is that it changed the system name back to localhost, which is really aggravating. It also looks like it sets up some kind of dynamic DNS setup, and then it has like a host key, probably for some kind of application registration, so that's interesting. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the next. Looks like we got some software updates. Okay, let's see what we got here. See how long this is going to take. Usually I do like to get the updates before the, before I go ahead and set things up, so I'm going to check this. If it takes too long, I'll just go ahead and pause and we'll come back. Oh, there we go. Let's just see how long it'll take. It may not take very long. I've got a relatively fast connection for the... Okay, so it did take a little while, not too long, about 20 minutes maybe. Probably just due to my server speed more than anything. So I'm going to go ahead and click next here, and it looks like the next part is going to be configuration. So this is in the internet domain. So I'm just going to call this WorkEndTech.local. It's not going to be really connected to any kind of web service or anything like that. Basically the same concept as a Windows domain, though. I'm just going to call it that, so no big deal. I'm betting that it works more like a DNS suffix, though. Okay, good. So we can rename the host name. So, yeah, server.workendtech.local. That seems like a pretty good thing to do there. So we're just going to do that. Let's see. Now this did not keep my time settings, which is not surprising because I had a problem with the CMOS battery. So I'm in Central Time Zone. So I'm going to set it to that, and that's today. So I'm going to go ahead and update it and see if we can't do that. Okay, so let's see what we got here now. I don't know. Let's just skip around in this and see what's going on. You know what? Let's just skip the wizard and see what's going on. Oh, now we got a custom dashboard. Let's configure that. I don't know what all this... update, whatever. Oh, okay. So we can put CPU usage, software activity, update, and restart. So that seems useful. Okay, cool. Looks like I've got... So it looks like I'm done with the configuration. So I hope this was at least some useful information. I mean, this was the first time I've ever set one of these up, so I really had no idea what I'm doing. I'll make another one here soon about maybe setting up a better dashboard or the marketplace or something like that, or what all you can do with it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.